you. Hello? Hello? Yeah, fine. Okay, first of all, it's a bit surreal that I'm back on stage after a long time. So, the time is started, right? Okay, I'm usually very inactive on social media. I hardly post, or I just look at a bit of news, but there's one ritual that I follow. And it's a quote that I share on my newsfeed year after year, year after year. I just want to read it as is, that's why the paper is over here. What it says is, it's from an African gentleman. He says, the day your education makes you roll your eyes at your father, the day your exposure makes you call your own mother uncivilized, the day your amazing foreign degrees makes you cringe at your driver which speaks pidgin English, may you never forget that your grandfather was a farmer from Oyo State who never understood English in the first place. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, Assalamu alaikum, good evening. There's a reason why I'm mentioning this quote. It has a lot to do with who I am and who I want to become in the future as well. It's all about, the character that's built over there. On a professional level, I work as I just recently moved back to Pakistan. I am currently employed at Risk Management Services. I'm a vice president over there. I'm perhaps one of the most professionally qualified individuals in my industry today, especially at my age. I won various awards in my previous firm. I've gotten published in different trade magazines at a very young age. But that's not who I am. That's just a part of it, and probably over a period of time I'd be having discussions on it. But what I really am, who I really am, it just goes back to my family background, and that's what I want to talk about today. And that background has a lot to do with one person in particular, my dadi. My great-grandfather, he was a Pehlwan, so that's why I'm Sehdmand as well. I think that's the nice way to put it the way it is. He was a Pehlwan. He belonged to a very small town called Lakuki, which should probably become part of Defense Lahore in the next few years. He moved back to Lahore probably in the 1930s in an area called Rahmanpura. My dada, he was a Qari. He used to teach Quran. Doesn't make a lot of money. 7 children, difficult to make ends meet. My dadi, she made a conscious decision, which was a big taboo at that time. She decided to work as a midwife. She worked for a number of years, and one of the families she used to work for was in particularly very wealthy. I won't take their name for various reasons. Their children used to go to school, and what she did is she made a conscious choice that she has to educate her children as well. She forced her 7 children to go to school. My Taya and my Chacha, they completed their FA. All other siblings completed their metric. My father, on the other hand, he completed his MA Economics from Punjab University. Big deal at that time. During this whole course, he thought many times about quitting his studies. The primary reason for that was more to do with financials rather than anything else. But he also used to drive a rickshaw at one time to make ends meet. Just to make a comparison, he's been flown in helicopters and private planes now. So that's basically how things changed over a period of time. But it was only my dadi that kept on pushing him that you need to continue studying. So I won't talk about what happened during all these years, but eventually what happened in our generation. We have graduates from IBA, from LUMS, from King Edward, from Boston, from Rochester, from Cass Business School, from very nice places, and a lot of us are doing very well in our industry. And it has a lot to do with where we actually come from. It's all about understanding what your humble beginnings were and where you actually want to go at one stage. And coming back to the family that the children who my father, my chachas, tayas used to go to school with, those guys opted not to go. They were landowners. Some of them we support financially as of today as well. And that's basically how faiths have changed. But it has a lot to do with the vision of, one woman who was unpaired by all standards, but not child. She had a vision to see things. Now, usually I tell this story to a lot of different people in different details. Sometimes I go in specifics, sometimes I talk broadly like I'm talking right now. And there's a reason for it. The reason for it is that once you think that you can change your destiny, you can change your destiny. I've seen it happen. Or at least I'm a product of, that happening today. So what I always tell people is that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, because you've not gotten out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone, come to events like these, talk on different forums, and a very good quote that probably some of you might even copy one day. When in Rome, be Greek, be different, it doesn't really matter. Back to you.